for normal body functions are iron, copper, iodine, fluorine, zinc, cobalt, manganese, chromium, selenium, and etc. Today, I'll be discussing about copper, iodine, fluorine, and zinc. First, let's discuss about copper. The importance of copper for the formation of hemoglobin was studied by Hart and co-worker in 1928. Later studies indicated that copper has many functions, including copper is essential for the synthesis of hemoglobin. Second, it is needed for the synthesis of collagen, melanin, and phospholipids. It is constituent of several enzymes. Deficiency that will occur in your body if you have lack of copper are in human beings, the only condition observed in is anemia due to copper deficiency. Second, copper deficiency produces marked skeletal changes, osteoporosis, and spontaneous fractures. And lastly, elastic formation is impaired in copper deficiency. The second microelement that I'll be discussing is all about iodine. Most of the body iodine is present in the thyroid gland, but all cells contain trace amount of iodine. Iodine is a constituent of two hormones, the thyroxine or the T4 and the triiodothyroxine, the T3. These hormones regulate energy metabolism, synthesis of proteins and cholesterol, and in the conversion of carotene to vitamin A. So the deficiency that will occur if you have lack of iodine is iodine leads to decreased production of thyroxine and in turn in a lowered rate of energy metabolism. In attempt to produce more thyroid hormones, the thyroid gland enlarges. This condition is called simple or androgenic goiter. The third microelement that we'll be discussing is all about fluorine. Fluorine exists in the body in compounds called fluorides. Lesser amount of fluoride enter into the complex calcium salts that form tooth enamel. Fluorides may also be useful in maintaining bone structure. It is necessary for the prevention of dental caries. Fluoride ions inhibits the metabolism of oral bacterial enzymes and diminish the local production of acids which are important in the production of dental caries. It is combination with vitamin D2 required for the treatment of osteoporosis. The last microelement that I'll be discussing is zinc. About 2 to 3 grams of zinc are found in the body. Like iron, zinc is absorbed according to the body needs. And the function of zinc are normal growth and sexual maturation. Second, as part of an enzyme that transfers carbon dioxide from tissues to the lungs. Third, the production of insulin by pancreas. Fourth, synthesis of proteins. And lastly, normal sensitivity to taste. The diet that has low zinc level leads to dwarfism and retarded sexual development. Zinc deficiency leads to diminished sensitivity to taste or hypoglycemia and to decrease in odor sensitivity or hyposmia.
Manganese. Manganese is another essential microelement that plays an important role for the normal functioning of the body. It is essential for the normal bone structure, reproduction, and functioning of the nervous system. It chemically activates isocitrate dehydrogenase and phosphotransferases. Pyruvate carboxylase and superoxide dismutase contain tightly bound manganese. And manganese ions activate glycosyltransferases, which is concerned with synthesis of mucopolysaccharides of cartilages and is also associated with the synthesis of glycoprotein. Arginase, an enzyme which is involved in the urea cycle, is activated by manganese ions. Now, where can we find manganese? Manganese can be found in nuts and whole grains that are rich sources of the element, while vegetables and fruits are also good sources. An average dietary intake of 2.5 to 9.0 mg per day is sufficient to meet the daily needs of manganese. Now, manganese is readily absorbed in the small intestine. Normally, 3 to 4% of manganese present in the diet is absorbed. Large quantity of manganese is excreted mostly in the feces, while only few quantity of manganese is excreted in the urine. What will happen to a person who is manganese deficient? Well, it will normally lead to impaired growth and skeletal abnormalities. Now we will talk about chromium. Chromium is also another important microelement. Chromium occurs in trace amounts in human and animal tissues. It is basically important for carbohydrate, lipid, and protein metabolism. It also potentiates the action of insulin in accelerating the utilization of glucose in your body. Now, it is highly available in average diets. The exact requirements are not known, or what we mean is the exact requirement is not yet known, but average diets can meet the chromium requirements. It is readily absorbed in the small intestine, like the manganese. It is mobilized from the tissues in response to glucose administration, and chromium is mainly excreted in urine, while a small amount in bile and in the feces. Chromium deficiency is characterized by impaired growth and disturbances in glucose, lipid, and protein metabolism. Now, another important microelement is the molybdenum. Molybdenum also occurs in traces in human and animal tissues. Molybdenum is an essential component of the xanthine oxidase, and it is also present in nitrate reductase in plants and nitrogenase, which functions in nitrogen fixation by microorganisms. Trace amount of molybdenum are required for the maintenance of normal levels of xanthine oxidase in animal tissues. It is available in average diets. While adequate amounts of molybdenum are present in average diets, hence, exact requirements is not yet known. Absorption of 50 to 70% of the ingested molybdenum is readily absorbed in the small intestine, and about half of the absorbed molybdenum is excreted in urine. Molybdenum deficiency is rare in human beings. In the last essential microelements that I'll be talking about is the selenium. Selenium is present in foods of plants origin grown in selenium-rich soils. They function specifically for normal growth, fertility, and for the prevention of wide variety of diseases in animals. Selenium is a constituent of the enzyme glutathione peroxidase as selenoprotein, and this enzyme is a protective agent against the accumulation of hydrogen peroxide and organic peroxides within cells. It is highly involved in immune mechanisms, ubiquinone synthesis, and mitochondrial ATP synthesis. Selenium has close metabolic relationship with vitamin E for curing certain diseases. Sources: selenium is largely present in different foods. The variation depends on the selenium content of the soil. Any normal diet can meet the daily requirement of selenium, but selenium deficiency is very rarely seen in human beings. However, necrosis and muscular dystrophy are associated with selenium deficiency.
These are the minerals that I chose: iron, potassium, sodium, and phosphorus. The food that are rich in iron are beans, tofu, baked potatoes, cashew, grain vegetable, and whole grain. The function of iron: iron is an essential element for blood production. About 70% of your body's iron found in red blood cells of your blood called hemoglobin and in muscle called myoglobin. Hemoglobin is essential for transferring oxygen in your blood from the lungs to the tissue. For deficiency, if you're losing too much iron, your body can't produce enough hemoglobin and iron deficiency anemia will eventually develop. This includes blood loss, fatigue, unusual pale skin, and pink or red urine. Second is potassium. The food that are rich in potassium are banana, orange, cantaloupe, honeydew, grapefruit, dried fruit such as raisins, cooked broccoli, and potatoes. For the function, it helps regulate fluid balance, muscle construction, and nerve signals. High in potassium diet may help reduce blood pressure and water retention, protect against stroke, prevent osteoporosis and kidney stone. Deficiency in potassium includes weakness and fatigue, muscle cramps, muscle aches and stiffness, tingles and numbness, heart palpitation, and difficulty in breathing. Next is sodium. The food that are rich in sodium are shrimp, ham, vegetable, salad dressing, pizza, and more. Function of sodium. Sodium plays a major role in maintaining blood volume and blood pressure. Sodium is also important in cellular osmotic pressure and in transmitting nerve impulses. Hyponatremia or low sodium blood levels may result from excess fluid in the body relative to the normal amount of sodium or may be due to loss of sodium and body fluid caused by chronic condition like kidney or congestive heart failure. Here, hyponatremia can lead to coma and can be fatal. And the last is phosphorus. Food that are rich in phosphorus are meats, poultry, fish, nuts, beans, and dairy products. The main function of phosphorus is in the formation of bones and teeth. It plays an important role in how the body uses carbohydrates and fats. It is also needed for the body to make proteins for the growth, maintenance, and repair of the cell and tissues. Phosphorus deficiency may cause bone diseases such as rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults. An improper balance of phosphorus and calcium may cause osteoporosis.
Chloride ion is essential for acid-base equilibrium. Chloride ion regulates the water balance and osmotic pressure. It is also important in the production of hydrochloric acid in the gastric juice. Chloride ion is important as an activator for amylase enzyme. Sources: sodium chloride is the main source for chlorine. Requirements: the requirements for sodium chloride depend on the climate and occupation and the salt content of the diet. Animal foods contain more NaCl than those of plant. Normal requirements for chloride is 5 to 10 grams per day as NaCl. Absorption and excretion. Chloride is completely absorbed in the gastrointestinal tract. Chloride is mainly eliminated in the urine and also in the sweat. Deficiency. Chloride deficiency occurs of rather when loss of sodium is excessive in the diarrhea, sweating, and some endocrine disturbance. Magnesium. About 70% of total magnesium content of the body is combined with calcium and phosphorus in the complex salt of bone. The remainder is in the soft tissue and the body fluid. As principal cations of soft tissues. Magnesium ion acts as an activator for many of the phosphate group transferring enzyme, and it also functions as a cofactor for oxidative phosphorylation. Blood content of magnesium. The normal level of magnesium in blood is 1 to 3 mg per 100 ml. Sources of magnesium is milk, cauliflower, egg, cabbage, and fruits. Requirements: for infant, 100 mg up to 150 mg per day. For children, 150 to 200 mg per day. For adults, 200 to 300 mg per day. Absorption. Like calcium and salt, magnesium are rather insoluble and a greater part of daily ingested magnesium is not absorbed. Parathyroid hormone increases the magnesium absorption. The third is sulfur. Sulfur is present in amino acids such as methionine, cytosine, cysteine, and thus it is present in all proteins in the body. Especially connective tissue, skin, hair, nails are rich in sulfur. Also thiamine and biotin, which are vitamin B complex, vitamins contain sulfur in their molecules. Sources of sulfur. Sulfur intake is mainly in the form of cytosine and methionine, present in protein. Other compounds present in the food contribute small amount of sulfur. Requirements: a diet that adequate in protein supplies required amount of sulfur. Absorption and excretion. The organic sulfate is absorbed as such from intestine into the portal circulation. Sulfur is excreted in the urine. Sulfur deficiency. No specific deficiency has been observed in human beings. The fourth is cobalt. Cobalt occurs in small amount in all tissues. Higher concentration occurring in liver and kidney. Most of cobalt is present in vitamin B12, which is necessary for red blood cell maturation. Sources. It is largely available in foods. Requirements. Cobalt deficiency has not been observed in human beings. Cobalt requirements, if any, appear to be met by traces of cobalt in all foods. Human beings require data sources of vitamin B12, which is not synthesized by the body. Absorption and excretion. Cobalt is readily absorbed from small intestine. About 65% of ingested cobalt is excreted in the urine, but the remainder in the feces.
The next list of minerals included in this video are calcium and iodine. First off, we have calcium. So calcium is practically one of the most famous minerals. About 99% of the body calcium is found in the bones and teeth, where it is combined with phosphorus and other elements to give rigidity to the bones. Calcium is also required for the complex process of blood coagulation. Sources of calcium are milk and cheese. Others are egg yolk, cabbage, beans, and cauliflower. In terms of deficiency, it is evident only a long period of inadequate amount. Tetany and osteomalacia are diseases that are caused from calcium deficiency. So next on the list we have iodine. So iodine is mostly present in the thyroid glands. It is a constituent of two hormones, T4 and T3, that regulates metabolism and synthesize protein. Good sources of iodine can be found in plants, but depend on whether or not iodine was present in the soil in which the plants were planted on. Other animal sources include milk, sea fish, shellfish, and crabs. In terms of deficiency, it can lead to a decrease in the production of thyroxine or your T4 hormones, and can in turn lower your rate of metabolism. And it can also cause simple goiters. So that's it so far for our little lesson on minerals. Until next time.